So let's talk a little financial news today. One of the states I repeatedly talk about that is upside down financially is Illinois. Chicago specifically is horrible, but the entire state is in a worse than terrible position. Pension systems upside down, finances upside down, and I don't mean by a little bit. What you're about to hear is going to show you just how much it really is. And they've got real numbers that had to be requested through like Freedom of Information Act or public records request to actually see the real numbers. You're going to start to see and understand why Rahm Emanuel, which I've been saying, the reason he doesn't want to reapply for mayor, try to be mayor again, is because when he leaves, he knows whoever's coming behind him can't fix what the problems are. Therefore, he wouldn't be able to. And to have that stain under him, he doesn't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave. Let the next guy deal with it, or girl. And what is that exactly? Well, authored by Mark Glennon via wirepoints.org for Zero Hedge. The state of Illinois recently reported its biggest annual financial loss ever. Forever. Remember that movie, The Sandlot? Forever. Except I think it was way closer. Forever. Like his lip was right there in the camera. Forever. Biggest financial loss ever. Instead of clear reporting on that, we've seen perhaps the most glaring example yet of how the state's finances can be, well, misunderstood, misreported, and quite possibly intentionally distorted. The loss of $47 billion for the state's 2018 fiscal year, shown in audited financial statements released late last month, is an astonishing number. For some perspective, that's about $7 billion more than the entire current annual budget. Let me pause so you can take a breath. But most of the regular press downplayed or entirely ignored the loss. Many even saw good numbers. A Reuters headline, for example, read Illinois budget deficit shrank to $7.8 billion in fiscal year 2018. You can find similar headlines from across the state. Why would media coverage differ so drastically from what the audited financial statements really said? Which one's right? Two factors account for the difference, and both should be understood. This is a lesson in how misunderstanding of our financial crisis is created and propagated. First, the loss was shrugged off because it stemmed mostly from an accounting change, which we will explain below. But that's only a partial excuse. In truth, the accounting change exposed a huge liability that has been all but ignored in the past. And second, most media reports seem to have blindly repeated a very misleading press release by the Illinois comptroller that accompanied the financials. Now I'm going to stop for a second because as I'm reading you first and second little bullet point here, I don't know, maybe it's my financial spirit guides, but it's coming in Bitcoin, crypto. You got to say it, Joe. Bitcoin and crypto, crypto, you got to say it. When this crap starts unraveling, and by the way, do you think it's only Illinois that's cooked the books? Oh, an accounting change. We used to add that number. We don't add it anymore. But you have to. That number's there. Yeah, but we don't. It's an accounting change. We don't look at it anymore. And now you're $47 billion in the hole that prior to that didn't even exist. Like, oh, we don't know about that. Oh, there it is. You think that's going to be the only state? Absolutely not. Do you think our federal government's any better? Absolutely not. When the financial turmoil starts hitting the world, in our country too, we're part of the world, and we're one of the biggest debtor nations in the world, by the way. Cryptocurrencies are going to be the thermometer to everything else. Kind of like gold and silver usually act like that. And I think you're going to see the insane numbers. $100,000 Bitcoin, $2,000 Litecoin. What the? $150 Theta already? Digibytes, $3? I think we might look at those things as a gauge. Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? Can't tell you that. Magic 8 Ball. It's been a long time since I've been out here. Been banned for a week. Our crypto is going to go up massively before the year ends, 2019. Outlook good, my friends. And I don't like to cheat. I do not. Snip doesn't like cheating. Outlook good, baby. The search is over. You were with me all the while. But I wasn't with you. I abandoned you for a week, and I apologize. Some background before we elaborate. The new financial statements are in the state's recently released, long overdue CAFR report. Now, that rings a bell to me. The CAFR report, CAFR report. There was a guy from years ago that it made its way around the internet, YouTube videos, and he said when you request documentation from your state or your local government, you request this document. It's called the CAFR. That will show you the true numbers. That will show you how debt and bankrupt we are, blah, 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 blah. That's the one that shows the goods. I can't remember the name of the guy, but if you type into YouTube CAFR, let me just do a little quickie for you. CAFR, will it come up? Explanation of Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. That's the one. And there's one from 5 years ago. That's someone else. It's not the one I think. How to read your government's CAFR, comprehensive. I'm trying to see if I recognize a thumbnail anywhere on any of these videos. I'm not right now, because I feel like if I saw the thumbnail, oh, that's the video. And YouTube tends to show me a whole bunch of Dyson vacuum cleaners currently. The CAFR or something with the Dyson vacuum cleaner. But anyways, that was the key one. So this is interesting that is what we've been handed, and that's the one that shows a massive $47 billion missing whatever debt, not necessarily missing, but deficit, if you will. The Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for the fiscal year that ended in June 2018, the $47 billion loss is shown in the statements as a drop in net position, which is the government's rough equivalent of net worth that you commonly see in the private sector. Changes in it are comparable to net income. As the CAFR itself says, over time, increases and decreases in net position measure whether the state's financial position is improving or deteriorating. The big loss was overwhelmingly due to an accounting change. Again, we don't look at that no more. That had a $42 billion impact. That change was for healthcare costs owed in the future to state retirees called OPEBs, other post-employment benefit. I thought it was OPP, other people's problems. You down with OPP? Other people's, not property, other people's problems. You down with OPEB? Yeah, you know me. Other post-employee benefits. Every last homie. Remember that? In Illinois, those benefits are constitutionally protected, just like pensions. Unlike pensions, however, they are entirely unfunded. Whereas pensions, I might add this one, where our pensions are like sometimes half funded, sometimes massively barely funded. But at least there's something there. These, on the other hand, there's nothing there. New accounting rules now taking effect require full disclosure of that liability, which the CAFR says totals $55 billion. But should we dismiss the massive loss as a bookkeeping quirk? Hardly. While the $42 billion loss didn't occur in 1 year, it's a growing monster that has been hidden for many years, unknown to most reporters and the public. Including it now as part of the state's financial report card is an admission about how deficient, not efficient, deficient previous reporting has been. The Governmental Accounting Standards Board couldn't keep a straight face any longer as it watched governments like Illinois hide OPEB obligations, so it issued a new standard requiring better disclosure, which is now fully in effect. Again, how many other states are going to come up? Can we see your CAFR report, please? Can I, Starbucks, can I get a CAFR latte? Caffeine-free CAFR report, please. The simple fact is that the state's true condition is indeed a full $47 billion worse than most Illinoisans were told a year ago. That's because the regular media, like the accountants, have long ignored OPEB liabilities. If you know about them, it's probably only because you read about them here or in other alternative sources or have expertise in the area. The chart below shows the full story properly over time. Since 2002, the state has lost $178 billion. The jump down in 2015 was also due to an accounting change, which I'm not showing you the chart, but that's okay. There have been other smaller ones. However, had the proper accounting rules been in place from the start, the line would still end in the same place. Its downward slope would only have been less jagged. So starting off in 2002, I want to let this sink in. It was down, it looks like minus 6 billion, negative 6 billion, 2002. By 2018, that 6 billion down shows 184 billion. That's one state called Illinois. How many other states are in the same freaking boat? I hope to God you got a little gold and silver or some amount, but you got some cryptos too for sure. Some Bitcoin, some Litecoin, some Ethereum, all that jazz. Digibyte, Theta. Because, again, is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year when all this stuff hits the fan? Like we have to deal with these numbers and deal with the debt? I don't know. I would have thought by now it would have already happened. I've been prepping since 2007 financially and food storage wise. Got my first little bit of silver, 2007, got a little more, 2008, etc. Started getting into cryptos, 2016, 15, 16, 17 for sure. And of course, I've been in it, pretty heavy duty in recent times. But I would have thought myself back then, Joe, it was over 10 years ago. Gosh, it should be here by now. We should have dealt with this problem by now, and we haven't. And like I said, Trump is going to ride this horse until it dies. Q, do we have the gold? Yes, we do, and it will destroy the Fed. Anything that's going to destroy the Federal Reserve, our central bank, do you think it's going to cause a smidgen of financial turmoil anywhere? Even if it didn't happen in America from some crazy chance, the rest of the world uses our dollar. It's going to affect them, and they do have people living there, humans. Yeah, you might know these things called humans. And just because these humans don't live in your country called America, they have issues and concerns the same that you might have. And when their dollar starts to look like crap, they may be jumping into cryptos. And those are fixed numbers of assets. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. There's only so many Litecoin. There's only so many Digibytes. There's only so many Ethereum. You follow me? There's only so many Theta. Those things could go up in a hurry. All the sideways movement recently, it's only 10K, about 10 and a half, back down to 10K, 9,500 back to 10. I know you're ready to go. I know you're ready to cash in. I get it. But each day or week or month that goes by and you don't see the cryptos exploding, yet you still have a little extra disposable income while you still have that, you could be buying, and I hope you are, buying some more crypto with real cash. So that when this day comes and you see your crypto portfolio exploding, making 2017 December look like a joke, you will say, man, I'm sure glad that old bald-headed son of a gun Snip convinced me to keep buying some crypto. And I had a little extra cash, didn't care what the price was, just keep buying some more. So, on that note, Take it easy.